prices surged above $100 per barrel after the invasion started. Crude oil is trading at $105.40 per barrel as of 5:30 a.m. Eastern Time Thursday. Thanks for listening. It's well appreciated. We are USA Radio News.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
Hey, Chief, we got a damaged RV on its way to the OR.
Well, that sounds like a job for the new head of RV surgery.
Wait, are you promoting me?
Congrats, Martinez.
Doctor, that RV's flatlining.
Well, that sounds like a job for the new head of nursing.
So you're just promoting everyone now?
Yeah, kind of looks that way, doesn't it?
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
If I'm going to work from my home office, I need my home office to work for me.
It's possible at Staples.
To be most productive, my home office needs to have everything my office has.
Also possible because your local Staples store has the tools your business needs to get work done from home. And right now, you can save up to 40% on select chairs to put the finishing touch on your home office. Explore what's new at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 2/26, in-store only while supplies last.
Hello, I'm Mark Sears with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Regency Printing.
Howdy, folks. RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some of the best char-grilled chicken breasts on earth, as well as their chicken breast salad. And the burgers are exceptional, cooked on a real grill for the best flavor and less fat. And for dessert, blizzards are unequaled. Personally, banana split is my all-time favorite. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
New arrivals and new savings are waiting for you at Blockers Furniture. With over 80,000 square feet of the best selection and best prices you can find on furniture, mattresses, home accents, accessories, and more. And with new trucks arriving weekly, Blockers has the best available in-stock selection. Unlike many other furniture companies that will have you waiting for months to get what you want or need, come see everything that Blockers has to offer. Blockers Furniture, 2402 Southwest College Road, next to Hobby Lobby.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
Are you suffering from neck, back, or leg pain? Go Green CBD Store can help you with holistic, all-natural, lab-tested products that help with pain, stress, anxiety, inflammation, PTSD, and so much more. We stock smokable products, gummies, chocolate, coffee, tea, even pain cream. Yes, we even have treats and oils for your dogs or cats. Go Green CBD is located in the Paddock Mall in the center court. We're open every day. Come in today for a free sample.
On the first and third Wednesday mornings each month at 9:05 a.m., Robert Colin with On Top of the World will be our guest as we learn all about the exciting lifestyle and new home choices available at Ocala's premier adult active community, On Top of the World. From time to time, Robert will bring guests, and you're sure to enjoy our little chats. After all, you deserve the world, and we bring it to you.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Thursday, Galen Unoff from Life South joins us. He does every day, brought to you by the good folks at Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, JustShip.net, and Penn Flooring. We're having a lively conversation about the invasion of the Ukraine by Vladimir Putin and the Russian army. Galen, let's take a phone call real quick. Good morning. You're on Ocala Talks.
I have a quick question because I have a comment, and I will only make part of it if you
turn your
know
radio
who
down
is
for
calling.
me. Turn your radio down for me.
Oh.
All right.
I have a comment to make because I'm very knowledgeable about this subject. But if you know who's calling, I can only make part of it because it would be classified.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you know who's calling?
No idea.
Good. Okay, if I was President Biden, my warning to Putin would be, you drop one nuclear weapon on one of those countries, and I will have 1,000 nuclear weapons on Moscow within 2 hours after you did it.
Oh, okay, thank you for that call. Okay, that's going. No, nobody's introducing nuclear weapons into this yet, Galen.
Well, then it's all over.
Then it's over for everybody. I mean, that's why everybody has nuclear weapons, so that the threat of it means that they won't use them. Isn't that what they've sold us for 50, 60 years? Did we lose Galen?
There we go.
There you are. There you are.
You there?
Yeah. You must be going through that part of the.
It's different every day. But
It
if the second a nuclear weapon is launched, the world as we know it is over.
Done. Now we're in The Walking Dead. Now we're in The Walking Dead as soon as that happens.
I mean, we're in war games, and it doesn't matter. I mean,
How about a game of
survive,
chess?
Right. We're going to die. Right. And it's our life as we know it in the world is over.
And I don't think you have to tell Putin, you drop one bomb on somebody, we're dropping 200 on you. He knows that.
But Putin doesn't want to drop a bomb because he wants to occupy. You don't nuke a place you want to occupy.
He needs the natural resources. He's not going to nuke where he needs the natural resources.
Exactly. Nuclear. This is not a nuclear war.
And it's never. I don't think that's ever on the table.
Not in this platform.
No. That is one distinction. That is one distinction from him and the unhinged guy. The unhinged guy in the 30s would have used it.
Let's be clear. Hitler started to do things because he was so desperate.
He was a desperate.
Back a person like Putin into a corner, he's going to take drastic measures. So in other words, if we go in, let's say we fight a war, we take 5 to 6 years to fight a ground war, and we were bombing the heck out of Moscow, and we put him in a corner, and Putin can commit suicide, he would launch every nuclear-based missile he had before he killed himself. Because
yes.
The guy you want to compare him to certainly did.
Yes. But here's
why nuclear weapons are the ultimate deterrent.
So here's the question that everybody say. Here's what everybody's saying on social media and all, and I just don't. I understand why they're saying it, and they go, if Biden was, if this was Trump instead of Biden, this would have never happened.
That's not true.
Of course, it's not true.
We don't know that. Now he may have waited for more years.
Right, he may have waited, but we don't know that one way or the other.
We don't know that.
We don't know what the motivation in Putin's head is because he hadn't told anybody.
But here's the interesting thing: as much money, and I really believe, if you look at what the Chinese are saying, the Chinese are like, we're not calling this an occupation, we're not calling this an invasion.
Not yet. They don't have to yet.
And this is an interesting piece. The only reason why people are up in arms about it is because the mainstream media is making this a big deal. And why is the mainstream media making this a big deal? Because, again, and I've said it for a week, the Ukrainian government has given billions of dollars, not only to the Bidens themselves, but people of political power inside the federal government. That is, you cannot deny that.
So you think then the Russian army inside the Ukrainian border, bombing Kiev and all, that's just a smokescreen so that Ukraine can be embedded into our political system?
No. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. Putin is invading Ukraine because he wants the resources.
100%.
That's why. What I'm saying is the reason we care in America, because we didn't care about Crimea. We did not care about Crimea. We did, and
No, and that was a problem as well.
So
I said in 2013 that this was something that was going to come back to bite us.
Again, the reason we care about the Ukraine is because, first of all, Hunter Biden works for a company in Ukraine, and the Bidens have received millions of dollars in the federal government. The people who supposedly work for it have received billions of dollars. And I'm going to give you an example. When Donald Trump said, look, before I give all this money to the Ukraine, I really want to look in that. They're an incredibly corrupt country. You remember that? It was only 2 years ago.
I remember he said that.
Right? And so now all of a sudden, and everybody's like, yeah, they're pretty messed up. But the people who are complaining about their this lack of funding were the former Obama officials. So now all of a sudden we're supposed to completely back, which everybody agrees is a completely corrupt government. What we do not know is how the people of the Ukrainians feel. The only thing we hear about are the people who are pro-Ukrainian government. I don't know, and again, I get the comparison to Hitler. I get it, but we can't have a conversation if you do that.
It doesn't bother me. You take Ukraine out of the equation, make it Georgia, or make it Latvia, or make it Crimea in 2013.
Nobody cared.
Wrong.
No one cared.
That is incorrect.
No one cared. There was none of what we're seeing today on social media.
They thought they could appease him, and he would be happy. I said that in 2013 with Crimea. I said it with Georgia. I've said it. I've been consistent in this, saying that appeasement is what they're doing with Putin, and it's never going to work. It's been through three separate presidential administrations now. Obama appeased him, Trump appeased him, and now Biden's appeasing him.
Whoa, we can say a lot, but Trump did not.
When did Georgia happen?
With Obama. 2012.
2018. Something happened, and Trump just brushed it off.
That was in Syria.
That's right, with him in Syria. Excuse me, Middle East and Syria, not Georgia. Middle East and Syria.
Okay.
But he didn't check Putin in.
No, hold on. Do you remember why? It's because somebody launched chemical weapons, and it turned out they were trying to blame the Russians so that they would make Trump do something. And Trump's like, this doesn't make sense. And then because he waited, he found out it wasn't the Russians that released the chemical agents. It was a dictator.
The chemical agents that were bought from Russians.
That own people. You know why? Because he didn't trust the CIA. Why? And again, this all has to do with the federal kickbacks. You do understand how entrenched the federal.
So you just think Putin should be left alone to do what he wants to do, and we should be in isolation. We should be an isolationist country that never gets involved.
No, I never.
Well, when is enough, Galen? When's enough with Putin? When's enough? Give me when's enough. When's enough?
I'm trying. You gonna let me talk? Here's what I have said from the very beginning of our conversation. This is what I've said. And the second you bring Hitler into it, you cannot have this conversation.
No, you say you can't have it. It's exactly the conversation you should have.
You can't, because the second you bring in Hitler, everybody wants to stop Hitler. The Pope would say, yeah, we should have aborted Hitler if we knew what he was going to do. You can't bring Hitler into it. My question is very simple. What are you willing to sacrifice to stop Putin? What are
and I said, whatever it takes.
And I don't know what that means. I don't know whatever it takes.
Because it's not just Putin you're stopping. It's the world economy from oil. Oil in the past 2 days went from $91 a barrel to $105 a barrel. Gas is fixing to be somewhere around $5 a gallon, all because Putin wants to take land, and we appease him by allowing it.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. All right, we're going to talk to Putin, and Putin's going to say, okay, if Tom Schmitz gives up everything he loves, his life, his family's life, for 3 people removed from Tom Schmitz, right? If he gives that up, I'll stop. And you're like, yeah, that's whatever it takes. I'm giving up to save the Ukraine.
It's what the boomers gave up. It's what the boomers and their parents gave up because they understood they had to stop a madman.
Well, let's be very clear. The boomers didn't care what
their parents did
until, hear me out. They didn't care. The greatest generation didn't care what Hitler did until Pearl Harbor. You know why? Because it became personal. So my question to you is still the same. What are you willing to give up? You said whatever.
You have to stop a madman, and Putin is a madman.
All right, well,
for the safety of our country, because the safety of the world, our country is dependent on the safety of the world. You got to stop madmen, and he's a madman.
So you want my kids, who are draft eligible, obviously, you want my 2 boys to go over and die for Ukraine?
I think with technology now, you don't have to do it that way.
Right. You cannot stop. And anybody who says that doesn't understand war. You can't
So I talked to a fighter pilot who flew sorties in Afghanistan and in Iraq, where you were, who said by the end of his time there, which was about 6 years before it all ended, by the end of his time there, drones were 2/3 to 3/4 of the flight sorties instead of airplanes.
Agreed.
You don't think we have the technology now to hit pinpoint accurate areas without having to send humans in to do it?
Completely different war. How many fighters were actually in Afghanistan fighting for the Taliban? How many?
It wasn't the Russian army. I get your point. It wasn't the Russian army.
Yeah, it's not. We're talking about as you said earlier, one of the largest armies in the world.
but my question is, my question is,
not taking them out with drones.
Well, we don't know. All we know about the Russian army is what Russia allows us to know. You know, they thought that they thought the Royal Guard and all was great too, till I had one friend of mine, Shaky, get 138 prisoners of war all at one time because they were starving to death. But that was never released by the country. You know, how good a shape's the Russian army in? We don't know, because the only people we got to rely on is Putin telling us how great the Russian army is.
Yeah, but what we did, and again, if that's what you want to do, then we have to do it the same way that we did Desert Shield and Desert Storm. We gather troops, because everybody's like, how long is this going to last? And Schwarzkopf said, until we're ready, right? And it took a long time before he was ready. And then when he went in to win, and we were over-prepared, and that's why the amount of life wasn't there. You're not going to be able to do that against an army the size of Russia. Because, again, as I keep saying, China's already said that this is an invasion. This isn't an occupying force. And the only reason people care about this is because America keeps fanning the flames. Tom,
so we're the bad guys here? Putin's not the bad guy. The United States is?
Never said that. Tom, I never said that. Never said that. What I'm saying is...
Well, you seem to be siding with the Chinese on this.
I'm not. I'm not on either one. My point is... You
got to pick a side, Galen. You can't be neutral. That's what led us to this problem. Neutrality is what led us to this problem. Saying, it'll take care of itself. We don't need to get involved. That's what's caused this problem.
What led us to the problem. You know what caused this problem? You want the God honest truth? After World War II, we just drew lines on the map and threw countries together.
100%. I'll agree with that 100%. Shoving the Slavs and the Serbs and all in one country, and I agree.
Correct. The governments caused this problem. Government.
But one of the governments that made those decisions, is the government that now has invaded Ukraine.
Well, that was an appeasement, and I think...
Exactly, that's what we're doing, appeasing him.
Just keep going. Okay, so my answer is still the same, or my question is still the same. Because I'm not...
And my answer is still the same. Whatever it takes to stop a madman.
I'm not willing to give up my kids for the Ukrainians. We don't.
It's
see more
not
of
the
fight
Ukrainians that are at stake here. It's the world that's at stake here. It's the world economy that's at stake here.
No, you know why it's the world economy? It's because your president decided not to become energy efficient anymore.
Regardless of how we got here, that's the hand we're at right now, and it could be destroyed if we don't do something to stop it.
And again, in 2 weeks.
What happens when? What are you going to do when oil's $128 a barrel?
It won't be.
How can you say that? Nobody thought it'd be $105 a barrel again. Yep. This morning it opened in the Chinese and Japanese markets at $105 a barrel. Nobody thought we'd ever get there again.
Hear me out. All we have to do is turn on our own pipeline, create our own pipeline to become energy independent again. And it's all.
So we're back to isolationism again.
No, I don't believe in isolationism. I don't think the sanctions mean anything.
No, they mean nothing. If it meant anything, he'd have stopped.
I'm not willing to sacrifice my country's treasure to save the Ukraine.
And that's exactly by the way, that's exactly what was said by politicians on the floor of the House and in the Senate in 1939 and 1940.
Sure it was.
Exactly the same thing. We're not willing to sacrifice Americans for a fight that we don't believe in, for a fight that is being driven. By the way, they said for a fight that's being created by our media.
Sure. I think.
How did history show that to be?
Well, it depends.
If we keep waiting for hindsight, people die.
Winners. The French themselves didn't care enough to fight.
Their national flag should be a guy with two hands up in the air and a cartoon bubble says "I give."
But my point is, the history is written by the winners. What we don't know is were there people in France that were doing well.
History's not written by the winners if it's done properly. History is taught by the winners. That the winners are the best. History is if you get into history, if you delve into history, history is not written just by the winners at all. If that was the case, Booker T. we wouldn't even know who Booker T. Washington was. We'd never have the writings of Frederick Douglass if the winners got to only write history.
How long did it take? That's a perfect example. A perfect example. How long did it take before Booker T. Washington was actually revered and not hated in this country?
By whom? Because abolitionists in the North love Booker T.
Okay.
Southern gentlemen and Southern plantation owners and all didn't like Booker T. But Booker T. Washington was revered by Northern abolitionists. So which group are you saying? What do you mean by being revered?
The masses. Right. So
which masses? The masses in the South or the masses in the North?
All right. So he lived in the 1850s.
Yeah.
Right? He was born in 1856. So he was
during Reconstruction was when he was most prominent.
Correct.
I know it's correct. I'm the one with the paperwork on the wall, not you. I know it's correct.
Slavery had already been outlawed, and so he really did. And again, his writings and everything else.
By the way, slavery was never outlawed technically. Slavery was never outlawed technically. The selling of slaves was made illegal in the 1820s, and then the Southern slaves were emancipated in 1863. The Northern slaves, by the way, to this day, you can still own Northern slaves. There's not a law in the book to stop that.
That's fair. Well, I will tell you that history is written and it's viewed through the glass.
Through the eyes of the winners, without a doubt.
Of the winners.
It is viewed through the eyes of the winner, which I, in my entire career teaching and everything, fought that constantly. Because that's why you have people that then say, because it's viewed through the eyes of the winner and all, that's why we need things like critical race theory. No, you don't. Critical race theory is ridiculous. It doesn't need to be taught. You just need to teach history. but we don't teach history. We stop teaching. Like, in this day and age, I don't know where they stop now in public school, but you and I remember, if we got past World War II in U.S. history in high school, man, that was a teacher that really ran through it. That teacher got through the history book quick.
Sure, of course.
We never knew anything about the Korean conflict or anything. And now, I don't know how far they get now, but, you know, I get very frustrated when people say...
Yeah, but the history is much longer now, right? I mean, the history is...
Another 75, 85 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Another 75, 85 years. You're going to have to keep condensing it, just like, you know, world civilization is condensed because it's been from the 10 BCs. No,
modern history is always more important.
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to explain. We need to look at modern history and see what this madman is about, and that we need to stop him before it gets to the point that it was in the 1940s.
I'm just not willing to give up
and
my children.
And neither were Americans in 1939 and 1940, and we know how that worked out.
Again, yeah.
We know how that worked out.
Sure. Agreed.
Yeah, well, that didn't work out real well.
I understand your point. Your correlation, I don't agree with. That's all.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. Hey, real quick, before we go, let you go. On a lighter note, 23 days retired. Well, he's not retired anymore. Tom Brady, according to the Hollywood Reporter, are you ready for? If you'd asked me a million different jobs that he may take, this has been the last one I'd have come up with. No, Brady is set to produce and act in a film called 80 for Brady, a football-themed road trip comedy starring, are you ready for this? Hanoi Jane, Rita Moreno, Sally Fields, and Lily Tomlin.
I think we're all in on that, aren't we? I mean,
it's
Lily Tomlin and Sally Fields, I'm in.
The script for 80 for Brady was written by Kyle Marvin and Michael Covino, based on a draft by Emily Halpern and Sarah Haskins, the duo that also wrote Booksmart. So, you know, Tom Brady, he's going to be starring in a film. That's the last thing I'd have thought he would, you know. I know he's not coming back and all.
Oh, no.
But if you'd have said pick something for his first project afterwards, starring in a movie would not be what I'd have picked.
He's been in a couple already, so I'm not surprised by this.
Yeah. The name is a nod to his draft position because he was famously drafted in the second last round.
Sure.
So, and he's producing the movie. He's producing the movie from, you know, his movie producing company is the one to the nod to the name 199 Productions. So.
Well, they seem to do a pretty good job with the Man in the Arena.
Yeah, so. It was. You know, I've watched half of that now, and it really is. You were right. You told me I needed to watch that. It really is an amazing piece of cinema.
It's good.
It really is good.
It's good.
It really is good.
You get it from different angles. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it wasn't. It isn't a love piece like Michael Jordan's 30 for 30 was with the Bulls. That 10-part thing that was really about how great Jordan was and how bad everybody else was.
I enjoyed that.
You see good Brady. Oh, I did. I enjoyed it, but it was still slanted for Michael. This one shows some of the parts of Brady that aren't the best. It doesn't put Brady in some good light sometimes. Hey, Galen.
No, he was willing to be critical of himself.
Yeah, exactly. Where's the Bloodmobile today?
Hey, Bloodmobile today. We're actually at the Walmart out on 200, so come see us there. We're also at the Winn-Dixie out in Bellevue. Come by and check us out. Give the gift of life. Donate blood. LifeSouth.org.
Galen, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, bye, y'all.
We'll be back after this timeout. You're listening to Ocala Talks on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
The invasion of Ukraine by Russia's military has begun. Russian President Vladimir Putin went on TV to make the announcement of war, and a full-scale invasion followed shortly thereafter. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Linda Thomas Greenfield spoke at an emergency meeting in New York Wednesday night.
The United States and our allies and partners will continue to respond to Russia's actions with unity, with clarity, and with conviction.
The two prosecutors in charge of the Manhattan District Attorney's criminal investigation into former President Trump and his business dealings suddenly resigned Wednesday. A spokesman for the District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, confirmed the resignations of Kerry Duane and Mark Pomeranz. They were charged with running the investigation on a day-to-day basis. It's being reported the grand jury investigation has stalled with no sessions in the last month. USA Radio News.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
The Russia hoax.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The Foreign Agricultural Service of USDA has awarded their fiscal year 2022 funding for 60 different agricultural organizations to help them expand their export markets for U.S. goods. The MAP program, which is called Market Access Program, focuses on consumer promotion, including brand promotion of small companies and cooperatives, and is used extensively by organizations promoting fruits and vegetables and nuts and the bulk and the intermediate commodities. The Foreign Market Development Fund, FMD, programs, they focus on trade servicing and trade capacity building by helping to create, expand, and maintain long-term export markets for U.S. products. The Market Access Programs and the MAP program benefit producers throughout the United States. They build markets for a wide variety of U.S. farm and food products around the globe. That according to Daniel Whitley, who is the head of the Foreign Agricultural Service. All of these groups work together to try to expand, and they said this year they would get about $175 million for MAP, and then they would also get another program for the FSA Foreign Market Development would be about $26.8 million. Now it has to be divided between the various groups.
Step right up and gaze upon this miraculous substance I hold in the palm of my hands. This little miracle can feed us, clothe us, give us clean, fresh water, and provide wildlife habitat for nature's critters. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the greatest soil on earth.
Learn more about soil health principles that can turn your soil into a star performer. Contact your local USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service office today to find out how. This message brought to you by USDA and this radio station.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today will be mostly sunny, very warm and humid. High today 84 to 87. Then mainly clear skies this evening with some patchy late night fog. Low tonight 62 to 66. Near record-breaking high temperatures tomorrow. We'll have a partly sunny, very warm day. High on Friday 84 to 87. This weekend mostly sunny Saturday and Sunday. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Join Gary and Don Crawford of Pinnacle Retirement Advisors